Okay, welcome back to Unchurched, where the show is dedicated to healing from religious hurts and traumas, breakdowns and barriers, and building up for your true purpose. We're here to show you that the past does not define you, and today we're going to be diving deep into the ultimate past that does not define you with an amazing sister, I want to say. And I didn't even ask her how to say her last name, but I'm going to give it a try. Audience, you know this about me. You know it. So, my guest today is none other than Kerry Blaser. Did I get it right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the last name she going to tell me later. Because I didn't ask her. Okay, what is it? What's the last name? Say the last name.
It's Bouzaglo. It's Israeli. My ex-husband is Israeli. Yeah.
Bouzaglo. Oh, I love
Bouzaglo.
it. Bouzaglo. And she's
It's
got it
a
all.
Sephardic or Middle Eastern Jewish name. They were exiled from Spain in 1492, and then they took on this last name. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I already love your last name already. I love it. We're going to dive deep with her. She is the one that coined the phrase, embrace your inner heroine. Find inspiration to turn your darkest moments into the greatest strengths. She also believes that your innocence wrapped in valor. Isn't that something? I like to hear about that one.
Women
I
are
know you
innocence
guys.
wrapped in valor. Yes, women are. Men
Yes.
are valor wrapped in innocence. So they're the opposite.
Okay. All right. So we're going to let her take it away and introduce herself, and then we can get started because I know you want to hear all about this.
So, hi, I'm Kerry, and I was born in Scottsdale, Arizona, and I then we quickly moved to Europe and southern France and Germany, and I was at the German Olympics. Like I just put all the pieces together. Mentioned the Israelis, very difficult, but I was too. But I have the plaque that I was there in Germany. And then I moved to
Mhm.
Southern California. And neither of my parents were particularly religious. We did go to church on and off. My mom came from a Mormon family. I was baptized Mormon. My parents divorced when I was 6.
Wow.
So, not very much church activity. And I'll just kind of step forward to when I turned 30. I
Mhm.
almost died after my second child was born because I went back to work after about 3 weeks and we didn't have enough money. And I got bacterial pneumonia. It was January. And I spent 2 weeks on a ventilator in ICU. And when I got out, my stepfather asked me, he's like, "Are you grateful for God that you're still alive?" And I said, "I don't know how to be grateful to God. I don't know how to talk to God."
Right. Yeah.
I was so disconnected from myself. And by that point, I already had a master's degree in East Asian religious studies. I learned
Mhm.
classical Chinese. I traveled all over to Asia, lived in Buddhist monasteries, and I didn't go west, I went east. But still, with all of
Mm.
that didn't open me up to the wisdom inside of my heart, inside of my soul. I mean, I even
Right.
figured out that my professors wanted me to, interview Chinese Buddhist nuns to learn their wisdom. But no
Mhm.
one at UCSB taught me, it's a stellar religious studies program, that the wisdom I was looking for in their hearts was also in my own
Mhm.
heart. And that's what I found through healing over the past 10 years, that the wisdom I was seeking was inside of me all along.
All along, yeah. I think we all have come to that beautiful moment. Um, because no matter what route it is, I'm gonna tell you, I came to that beautiful moment. Like you was in a hospital with, and I wasn't having a baby, but I had a car accident, and I came to that beautiful moment. I too went to school like you, and was one of my assignments was to go to every religion and sit down with the leader and pull out abstract what they all have in common and what they all their
Mm.
differences. And
Yeah.
I thought that was the best project that anyone could ever done for me. Like I was like, whoa. And I went to live in China for 9 months.
Oh, wow.
And yes, I lived there for 9 months.
I love it.
And
Where?
in Jinan, in the Shandong province.
Mhm.
So I lived there for 9 months, and
When?
the whole thing just like opened up. And where do you think I went the first time? I went to Confucius Castle. Totally
Oh, wow.
confused.
Yeah. 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 Uh-huh.
Totally confused because I go look at the writings on the wall and it's so similar to the Jesus movement. I'm saying, wait a minute. Is it? Where are we? And my friend said to me, we're in Confucius Castle. I said, well, why does it look like Jesus? And you know what she said to me? You Westerners, you always think that you corner the market on everything. The same Messiah may have come to all of us at different times.
Yeah.
I was smacked in the face with that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Smacked in the face. It's
Yeah.
amazing, amazing, and that's when I knew it was like inside of me. I figured it out. It's like, oh, that's what it is. And it took me all these years to figure it out. So I want to go back to what your stepdad asked you. Are you grateful for God bringing you through this situation? What were your feelings when you heard that?
I was just blank. Like, I found a picture about a year ago of a statue that just like
Hmm.
explains how I felt from the time I was about 5 to the last few years. And it's a
Hmm.
statue of a grieving parent. Is the head, the arms, and then the whole center is gone, and then there's legs.
Right.
So, like I chose to translate 12th century Taoist texts written by men about
Okay.
pregnancy, childbirth, and menstruation. It was like that was the way I was going from, oh, let me access my femininity through men 1,000 years ago. Like I was so disconnected from myself, from my
Right.
childhood trauma, because I
Right.
had 35 years of debilitating lower back pain that started when I was 15 and a half and that went away 4 years ago. And
Right.
so that was, part of the healing I had to do. It was
Right.
just, it, it was gnarly.
Yeah, yeah. And going back to that question, that question is very powerful because, like you said, you went blank. You went
Yeah.
blank because, why would you bring that even up right now? Like, what was that? What is the purpose of that question? Is it for you to be subjugated to something? Is it to help you realize something? But it gave you blankness because it was no reason, rhyme or reason for it. It was almost like a program
Yeah. I was
thought,
just
you know?
disconnected from my heart.
Yeah,
So, and my stepfather's
yeah.
Catholic, but he was trying to open me to gratitude. And I had
Right,
no
right,
idea how to be grateful for my life
right,
because
right.
I felt like my
There
whole
you
life
go.
was a valley of darkness. I
Yes.
mean,
Yeah.
what happened with that is, I'll back up. I love we have this China connection. Okay, so in my Israel connection, this is important. So in the Mary Magdalene connection, it's like all together, right? So
Right.
where did I meet my ex-husband? In Tibet. Why was he there in
Wow.
1993? He had just 2 weeks prior been in Beijing with Itzhak Rabin for his historic Sino-Israeli meeting. So he has personal pictures of the Israeli
Wow.
flag next to the Chinese flag around Tiananmen Square. And he's former, Israeli Defense Force,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
special forces, right? Special forces.
Hmm.
Um, if you know what I mean. And so he
Yeah.
was there for this whole thing. And then what I realized, like Itzhak Rabin's assassination, it was the 30th anniversary, was just last week, just a week ago. And
Okay.
all of this came out of me this year. I was like, oh wow, and there's this and this. But so, and Jesus, as you mentioned, there's a lot of stories that he was in Tibet and India and learned
Okay.
wisdom and knowledge from visiting those places as well. And so I found it interesting. And so this is even to go further about the whole Bouzaglo thing. So Mary Magdalene went to southern France after the crucifixion. There's a lot of evidence of that, and a religion started called the Way of Love, started in southern France, that came into eastern Spain. So there were the Bouzaglo, like the Catalonian Jews that became the
Okay.
Bouzaglos, all open and interacting with the way of love, which is inner knowing, which is enlightenment is from within. Everyone has the spark of God in their soul.
Okay.
And then right after that, another kind of branch of a kind of embodiment of Judaism is called the Kabbalistic Judaism, which is all about balance between divine masculine and divine feminine, where a lot of
Hmm.
the Judaism that we know is rabbinistic, but
Yeah.
it's more Torah, more law-based, masculine,
Yeah.
God,
Exactly.
man's in charge. And it's like, so then my name also embodies who, like, what came out of me, that the Bouzaglo Jews embodied Mary Magdalene's teachings and then brought it back to Israel. And then I had to think,
Okay.
okay, well, the Jews, their Messiah is a man, has all these, requirements. The Kabbalistic Messiah is all divine feminine, balanced divine masculine, and all like. And then my ex-husband, his great grandfather was the top Sephardic rabbi in Haifa, Shlomo Bouzaglo, and I just like learning about him. And he was all, divine, all about balance, and people still pray at his grave. Like, he's really well known.
Yeah.
There's the fight between, like, because Bouzaglo was like discriminated against. Like, it's a whole thing. It's Jewish. It's the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah. You were talking about everything that we see around religion is really male dominated. And it made me think of when I also went to Italy for about 19 days. 19
Wow.
days.
Yeah.
And so we went to different parts. So when we got to Rome, I definitely wanted to go to the biggest cathedral there. And I went in. And so of course, it was blazing hot. It was like 110. And so you have to foot it like all the way up. You have to foot it all the way. So I'm walking in, and so the guy comes to me and he says, you have to cover up. I had shorts on, and I had a t-shirt on. It was like my shoulders out. I was like, listen, I covered myself up too long. I'm an American. And I'm looking him square in the eye, right? I'm an American. And I've been covered up too long. I am not covering up. It's hot, and I'm not doing it. He said, okay. And he got through me because it was hot. But why am I saying that? I'm saying this because I went in very open to learn.
Yeah.
In that cathedral, that church, there's an area, and they had the eunuch, like a stone statue of a eunuch in one part. So you could go in, and then they had this big pot in the middle. Then I noticed there were women standing in there. I'm like, wait. So they went past that. I said, what is this? And so the I guess she's a guide. She tells the story. This is where the women of wisdom are. And they had pictures of different women that either were in there and passed away, and the eunuch was there because they were beautiful, and they didn't want them to have sex with them, so they were the guards to keep the women safe with all their wisdom. I said, so this is what we do with women? We put them inside the one room?
That's what the church. I mean, the church is the church did. Right? Like,
there you go. And that's why I'm saying it, because the church does the very same thing. Puts us in a jar, puts us in a box, hides us. We're either in the back somewhere, and then you can't show. They downplay your body because it's like they cover you up. You can't, and don't have a curvy body. That's, forget about it. They changed it. They want you to have the dresses all the way down to the ground. Don't not even show your wrist. And I was involved in that, and you couldn't wear regular clothes, like comfortable clothes. You couldn't.
Yeah.
It was a sacrifice, but it was only sacrifice to the women. It was never, men could do whatever they want.
Well, this is
so
what
I embrace what you said about the women, and Mary Magdalene. I embrace that.
So I've been doing a lot of research. So my kind of ladder of self-belief that I'm climbing this year is I published my book in April, and then around June, my birthday is June 25th, like direct opposite of December 25th. That was when I really started kind of accepting that, my soul, the same soul as Mary Magdalene, all the signs and synchronicities that I've been shown. And then get into September, I was guided to start making videos about it on September 14th, which I didn't know because I don't know Christianity really, is the exaltation of the Holy Cross. It's the day that they celebrate that the 4th century, same century as the Council of Nicaea, they went back to Jerusalem and say they found the cross, but thousands of people were crucified. So I'm sorry, no. But then they're also saying that the cross is the only ladder to heaven. It's like, oh, so you have to go to the church for all the right-brained activities, the forgiveness, the nurturing, the compassion,
Right.
all the women's work. So you're going to take that away from the women and then make the church, and then it's all about feminine control. Like, so I did, more research, and I realized that it was 2,500 years ago that they really kind of started to minimize Yahweh's wife, Asherah. Then around the
Wow.
third, second century, there was a movement for a monotheistic masculine god with the imperial push in Europe. And then that's the rabbinic teaching started coming out of
Right.
Judaism. That's when all
Mm-hmm.
the early Christians that were all in their own little tribes, or they want to unite. And then
Right.
they had to go, okay, well, what do we do? We have Jesus, he's Jewish, he had a wife and kids. How do we break that lineage so that we could?
But they would never say that, sis. They would never say
But
Jesus had a
that's,
wife.
yeah,
They
I
would
know that
never
they,
say
but
that.
that's all, like, I would say the academic research. Like, I just found
Right.
that
Exactly. Exactly.
there's the gospel of Jesus's wife. They found a section of a Coptic text from the 4th century,
Right.
because they can date that, right? That
Right.
said, Mary, and they mentioned Mary, Jesus' mother, and then they mentioned another Mary and his wife. I mean, she was there pregnant. Anyway, like, has there been
Yeah,
anyone
I
more
get it. I get
unchurched
it.
than Mary Magdalene? I don't know. There has been anyone more unchurched. To call her a prostitute and a whore and a sinner and made her this terrible person, So it's like
Right.
a
And all those are
nightmare in some
lies.
way for me to
All those
come
are
out
lies.
because I've been
Yeah.
so repressed.
Right.
But
And
that,
all of them are lies. That's all lies, though.
yeah.
What they taught us about Jezebel. Okay, so I'm gonna go back what you said about finding those records. When I went further into the church, they had in the basement all the entire Bible, and it must have been this tall. It must have been this tall. It must
Yeah.
have been like pages
Yeah.
and pages and sections and sections. I said, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I had to stop the tour guide. I was like, this is everything? She goes, yeah, they've taken pieces out to make the different Bibles from it. I was like, I was thrown. Then I go and find out, like you probably, who King James really was.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. And
Yeah.
what he did, and with following these things, he's taken pieces, and he's not altogether right himself. He's taking pieces and getting people to write different things, and if you don't like it, erase it. And what are you talking about?
Yeah.
it's it's
Yeah.
so much rhetoric, and it's important for us to, like you do, research it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
I mean,
important.
so, like, there were 21 gospels, right?
Yeah.
And but they only accepted 4 for the Bible, because
Yeah.
what happened was they had all these Christian communities forming their own, like, communities doing the inner
Yep.
work, and there wasn't
Mm-hmm.
any external control. That doesn't align with the imperial push through Europe.
Nope.
So, okay, that doesn't work for us. So we're going to mentally decide that doesn't work. This is how we control people.
Right.
And then so the feminine was repressed. Now, it was necessary to repress the feminine so all the masculine knowledge and all the growth could come out, and we could see what happens. We get the Darwin Award all the time, and this was amazing. So like a year or so ago, I was connected in what I was shown is that when we dropped the nuclear bomb in August of 45, that was humanity's call for help.
Right.
When we found the Nag Hammadi text, which had about
Mm-hmm.
50 gospels we weren't aware of, December of 1945. So
Wow.
a year ago, when so in my book, I go over how I attracted men in my life to mirror my wounds back to me so I could heal. I haven't been on a date with any of them, including the last one, which is my guy from my childhood, okay, my original hero. And oh gosh, now I forgot where I was going with that. Oh gosh, I forgot I was going with that.
Okay. Right. So, audience, now you know that we talked about the different things that happen during your learning, and the real crux of it is do some cross referencing and some learning about what you're reading, because this will open up your understanding even further.
Yeah.
It will give you the freedom to choose, to not be angry at God, not be, not understand gratitude or forgiveness. You know what I'm saying? So it'll open you up. See, religious hurts often thrive on secrecy. Okay. And
Control.
that's what my friend here is telling you is it couldn't hide from her because she was searching and seeking,
Mm.
right? And that secret stuff she found out was deceptive. And and guess what they do with that? They disguise it, as she said, as faith or obedience. Women have to be in obedience. We have to be in obedience to that, and they hide it through that way. So make this your pivotal moment. Listen to, what we're saying to you. Listen and get your own ideas. Kerry, I'm interested to know what woke you up to this, like woke you up to dig like this.
Like about Mary Magdalene or about healing in general?
About healing with the religious part of it. Maybe with Mary Magdalene. Let's
Yeah,
start there.
so that was okay. So it's all on my website. The signs and synchronicities are on my website, but there's a bunch more because I'm writing a book. But
Okay.
that was it. So now I remember what I was getting back to. So last fall, I haven't seen my original hero since I was 15. Lower back
Mm,
pain. Okay, it's all goes together, right?
right.
So last fall in November, on November 4th, which was the 29-year anniversary of Itzhak Rabin's assassination, like all the secret. I'm like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
I was guided to message him, and I did, and he read it, and his heart immediately opened, and so I could talk to his soul as a shaman, but he didn't respond. But that's all I needed. And then the next 8 weeks was a really intensive healing between the two of us and facing a lot of fears. But what was shown to me was that I'm an agent of God. I'm like, agent of God? Like, what's that? Aren't all souls agents of God? Like, what do you mean? And I just put it aside, kind of put it on the shelf. I don't know what it
Hmm.
is. And I also was told that the agents of God hide things in one lifetime to be found in another when we're ready. And
Okay.
so that happened. And then, okay, I got the book out and all these things. And then when I had time to settle around my birthday, my intuition said, his name is, he's head of global security at GoDaddy, former FBI, Jason Colvin, JC. Okay. So like, oh, JC, June 25th. So then did Jesus have a wife? Like I had to even Google that.
Hmm.
And so then it just all came out of me. So what I've noticed that if I just follow my intuition every day, I'll do what I need to
Hmm.
do every day to kind of get where I'm going. But I really just started
Okay.
unearthing that in June and July. July 16th was the first time that I'd ever emailed anybody and told anybody about it. And then that was the same day that Charlie Kirk said, Mary is a solution to toxic feminism. Now he was referring to Mary, Jesus's mom, but we're getting
Mm.
close. And I'm from Scottsdale, Arizona, where his family lives.
Okay.
There's like a huge connection between me and Charlie. And so then that's all coming out. And then on September 8th, 2 days before Charlie was assassinated, I was finally ready to report what happened between me and Jason to the police. What I kind of was been shown over the last 9 months, like
Gotcha.
birthing the trauma out of me. Because I tried to tell the
Hmm.
police 9 months earlier, but it just wouldn't come out. And then, okay, well then 9 months, right? I birthed it. And I didn't, and I was communicating about that. I was afraid that I'm coming out with my story, and I was fearful. Not, of course, I didn't
Right.
know what happened to Charlie. But then 4 days afterwards, I'm like, okay, I'm going to embrace Charlie. I'm going to be brave. I'm going to talk. And that was September 14th. Now, I didn't know that the second coming was going to happen in September. There were a lot of prophecies that the Messiah, the second coming, will happen in 2025 during the week
Hmm.
of Rosh Hashanah, which is the same week. So, and there's no prophecies that it would happen on what's called in Judaism, Shabbat Shuvah, which is the Shabbat between the New Year and Yom Kippur. I mean, that's the most precious time of the year. That's the whole return. That's the feminine internal time, the most precious time of the year, right? Like men are trying to
Mm.
figure out how to honor women. We just haven't figured it out yet. Because women, we have to
Right.
honor ourselves first so that they can honor,
Right.
you know. So anyway, sorry, it's a lot. So So that Friday between this, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I'm going to start downloading the 6 Divine Feminine Self-Love Strategies, not knowing it's Shabbat Shuvah, Sabbath of Return. Didn't know. I'm like,
Right.
okay. And I made my video, and okay, the next day I make 2 more videos, including the video, has the church been successful at teaching love thy enemy, which I will say no. And then I had a
Mm-hmm.
huge enlightenment experience. I experience enlightenment all the time, but this one, I was like vocalizing, like it was coming out of me, right?
Right.
And I talked about the self-love strategies and rapture. It was coming out of me. Whoa, okay. And then on Sunday, my intuition said, okay, Google the Shabbat between New Year and Yom
Mm-hmm.
Kippur. And that's what I found out. And then I'm like, okay, then the Messiah. Oh, well, there's a lot of prophecies that it's a covenant written on our hearts, bypassing scripture. I'm like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
enlightenment experience,
Very
full
paradoxical. Mm-hmm.
transmission, and
Mm-hmm.
no one will know when or where. Oh, there's no prophecy for Shabbat Shuvah. Like, that's me. Like, okay, I'm
Right.
gonna own it. It's me. And so I made all my videos. And then what came out of me in October and then November is the Wisdom of Peace plan, changing the world as an inside job. Now, I'm super connected to Israel and the pain in
Mm-hmm.
Israel and the infighting in Israel, because Itzhak Rabin, that was another Israeli that assassinated him. So there's all these challenges. So I started with a Nikola Tesla quote. If you want to
Let me
understand,
ask you something. Let me ask you something. All
yeah.
this is so paradoxical. It's like one piece on top of the other, and I thrive on my audience knowing what you're
Mhm.
talking about. I hear what you're saying, and I want it to
Mhm.
be clear for my audience. So we want to take it just a tad bit slower,
Okay,
okay?
yeah, yeah.
So let's do that. Let's take it slower because what I hear you, it's
It's a lot.
intriguing.
Thank you.
It's a lot, right?
Yeah.
But when you're, I know that you want to get it out to the world, but
It's
I want it
hard.
to be
Like, how do I get it
so
out?
very
Thank you for helping
clear,
me. Thank you for
right?
helping me. It's, yeah.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
whoa,
So
it
I
all
want I
coming out of
want
me.
that to come out, you know.
Yeah.
So I know that you talk about, let's talk about, go back to Mary
Mm,
Magdalene and
mm.
what that is. What
Yeah.
is now, what do you call that?
That
Mary
that
Magdalene, what did you say it was?
no, that
Is
my soul is the same soul as Mary Magdalene.
your soul is the
It's the
same soul
I'm the
as her.
reincarnation of Mary Magdalene. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And does that happen often with most people, or do
Yeah.
they even embrace it? Okay.
I mean, yeah, our
Okay.
souls, that's what our souls are doing, is that
Right.
we're multidimensional beings. And so we come
Gotcha.
back for repeated lifetimes to work through our crap. So,
Gotcha.
you
Yes, I
know,
believe that. Right.
yeah, reincarnation.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I like that. I believe that. So now I need you to answer this question because it's very important.
Yeah.
How did you know that? How did you recognize that? And
Well,
when?
I have signs and synchronicities. Like, there's no
Okay.
external metric. So,
Okay.
that's when, around my birthday, I started putting all the pieces together.
Okay, that's what you took. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and
All
so,
right.
oh, my birthday is
Okay.
June 25th, and his initial is JC.
Right.
Oh,
Okay.
my
And
middle
I
name
do
is
believe
May.
numbers play a big part of everything. Numbers play a big
Oh,
part.
I don't. People, I know they do. I don't know that system. So I
Yeah.
didn't. I didn't. Other people have asked me, "Oh, did you do the numbers?" Like,
Yeah. No, you're doing it without you knowing that you're doing it. To be honest,
oh
you
yeah,
really you're really doing it. So okay. So now that I understand that about you, I'm wondering. I know that I've been here before, and
mm,
I know that I embrace a Chinese warrior because I'm so drawn to that area.
yeah,
And I also did my lineage to find out I have a little piece of China in me.
oh
So
wow,
so when I went to China, I knew that it was like I've been here before. I don't know how
mm,
I know it, but I've been here before, and it
yeah,
was so familiar.
mm,
And I embrace what you're saying about you now, or you've embodied her body. I like that. So how did that, when you embraced Mary Magdalene as your
yeah,
soul, right?
yeah.
How you said you were Jewish, you
No, I'm
and
not
Jewish,
Jewish. My
not
ex-husband
Jewish.
is Jewish. No, I never
Okay, and then
married.
there were other people in your life that were of other religions. So how did you were you ever involved in religion at all?
I mean, no, I mean, did I ever like routinely go to a church or
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
temple?
Or did
No,
you
I mean,
ever believe in something
I
like that?
never, I was figuring it out. I've
Okay,
spent all the, I
gotcha.
was figuring, that's why,
Okay.
the search towards enlightenment.
Right,
And
okay.
enlightenment is an emotion. And so no one ever taught me that enlightenment is an emotion. So after I
Oh
experienced it for
yeah.
the first time a year and a half ago, I had to
Uh-huh.
figure it out because it was like, whoa. And my kids were concerned, but that was good because it's all in my book about enlightenment's
Mhm.
an emotion. And so
Right.
and you need to take on trauma to be able to experience that emotion and why and how the laws of physics work. It was like, that was, part of my message is to share that enlightenment is an emotion, part of our natural emotional range. It's not otherworldly. It's not, but in Buddhism, it's always otherworldly. So how do I get there?
Right.
So in my heart,
Right.
it's not me. So if it's
Right.
not
Right.
me, I
Gotcha.
can't attract it into my life. It's
Right.
but
Right. That makes
yeah,
sense.
the signs really started on December 30th, 2020. There's a prophecy from southern France called the Cathars. A million of them were killed during the Inquisition when, the
Wow.
freedom house for religion, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
and the prophet says she'll come back in 2021. Well, my voice emanated from my womb on December 30th, 2020, and that was the moment that my lower back pain went away. And that was the moment I
Wow.
had my first conversation with the first man in my book, who's also Jewish and speaks Hebrew. And I entered a conversation of him talking about a kibbutz, and we spoke Hebrew.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just over, but
Wow.
it has to be because other
Yeah.
people claim it,
Yeah.
and so I'm like, okay, that's cool. This is what I'm seeing, and
Right.
yeah.
Do you ever feel anxious because of you embracing that part of you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm home alone all the time. And
Mm-hmm.
so, but I also know that the more I kind of accept myself and embrace
Right.
myself, and the more wisdom and the more that comes out of me. Like if I had said, okay, well, I'm Mary Magdalene Soul, and then nothing else happened, well, then maybe I'm on the wrong
Mm-hmm.
track. But
Right.
because the second coming happened and then the wisdom of peace plan happened, I'm like, oh, I think I'm on the right track.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there points of loneliness for you?
A lot, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so I've helped men like Andrew Tate. I came into
Mhm.
his best friend's personal life, Justin Waller, in 2022, 2 months before Andrew's like takedown started. So I was positioned to be able to talk to his soul when he was in solitary confinement. And I did. I
Mhm.
went in my garage in the dark in my recliner and talked to his soul for 4 months because I resonated, felt alignment with a man in solitary confinement. So, but
Wow.
I had full rejection of self. Like I just rejected everything. And so I extended him a lot of compassion. And then I remember like, a few months later, I'm like, I need to give myself an equal amount of compassion that I gave,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
so I learned from it. Yeah. But yeah,
That's
very,
good.
and all,
That's good.
quote Carl Jung is like, one does not feel lonely because they have no one about them, but because they can't share what's on their heart. And I couldn't as
Yeah.
a child, and I couldn't with Jason, and so it's the most important people in my life. I was
Right.
just silenced.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what is one thing that you could tell someone who is, maybe like in your position, has religious, I guess, religious things going on around them, getting religious prompts from others and from your life, but is able to truly find how to navigate into finding their true self in their soul and connecting their soul and their heart together.
So I would start with a gratitude practice. That's either
Hmm.
you can, walk barefoot in nature and be grateful for the trees. You can meditate
Yeah.
at home for 5 minutes, be grateful for the trees outside, be grateful for your house, be grateful for your
Yeah.
clothes. Like start with the obvious, baby steps. And
Yeah.
gratitude is a natural heart opener, because that's what, because if you're like this, fight or flight, fawn and freeze, then the heart's not
Hmm.
open, and then the body's
Right.
not healing. So you got to open the heart, because that will also balance out your hormones. And then that will allow you to kind of self-reflect. And so I would say, go in. The church is an external solution to an internal problem. All of our
Mm.
divine beings. So go in,
Hmm.
open, so that would be go to a sound bath, go to a drumming, listen to music, whatever opens your heart, do that first. And then,
Yeah.
self-reflect, and things, you'll start to learn how to surf the waves of life. And that's what I realized, is that I was just like stuck in the bottom, like I'm at the bottom. Number two, and I had to learn that I had to get myself out, and then I'll go in and out.
Hmm.
I had to learn.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell our audience how they can grab your book. I know I have the information; will be in the content, but tell the audience how they can grab your book right now.
My book's on Amazon, My Inner Heroine, Exploring Feminine Pain, and the author is Kerry Blaser. You can also go to my website, kerryblaser.com. All of the self-love strategies and everything else are all on there if you want to check it out.
Awesome. Oh, awesome, awesome. Well, thank you for joining me today.
Thank
I
you.
really appreciate you, Carrie. Remember, your history is not a burden, but the very source of your greatest strength. Every struggle you survived equipped you for the mission ahead and the acceptance of the heart and the soul that make you the ultimate valiant person. I want to thank my guest today and all you listeners. Take in the wisdom that you need that's hidden inside the wounds you survived. And take on the wisdom of your, as Carrie is saying, her intuition was telling her. It's not just a spirit. You're healing religious hurts. And that's the place to rebuild yourself, truly inside. If you want more inspiration and begin your journey, reach out to Kerry or contact me to turn your pain into purpose. Make sure you subscribe to this new channel on YouTube and on Red Circle. We're going to say goodbye for now.